This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus Dynamite. It literally ended less than a minute ago. It is May 12th, 2021. Um, Boy, what can I say about this? It's there was no middle ground. Things either completely worked or, in my opinion, crashed and burned. They definitely have a go for broke style with the booking and the things that they try, and some of it works and some of it doesn't, but it's never boring. I'll give it that. They open the show with just showing Nagata and John Moxley warming up. There was something that felt so great about that. Then we had the opening of the show, and we went in that match. Moxley entering the ring to Wild Thing, which is the music that he uses in Japan. Again, it's just one of those touches that AEW cares about and is willing to spend money and some resources on, and it's just so nice. The match is great. Yuji definitely got to show off, throw those kicks. There's really stiff boots to the face. In the end, Moxley wins, and then there's this great show of respect, and it's just such a different look than what you would see in any WWE thing. I just thought it worked really well. Moxley's a star, and then I love that Yuji had like a trainee with him, and then Eddie Kingston's there with Moxley, and it just works. They run down the card. They're only going to have 5 matches tonight, which I find really interesting, by the way. Unless I missed something along the way. I take notes, so. We got a promo with the Inner Circle, or the three members that are standing. One of Santana and Ortiz are in jail for using a fork. And then Jericho, of course, took the big fall. Cody Rhodes comes out, and he's going to cut a promo. And when we come back from break, he cuts this really wonderful promo. At first, I was like, oh, where's this thing going? He's talking about the United States, and then he talks about how Gogo sort of takes advantage of it. And he talks about how the birth of his child is this important event. And then how he's going to be the American dream for one night. And really cool, really good stuff. And we're setting up this pay-per-view very, very nicely. Then we get an SCU vignette. And then we get SCU against the Young Bucks. How was the match? Oh, it was fucking phenomenal. And it was really great. And all the cheating shenanigans leading to the end was something. Mox and Eddie kind of trashed the Elite locker room. It's one of those things where I do wish AEW just had a better eye on focus. Because at this moment, it's about the Young Bucks beat SCU, and now SCU is split up. And we only got that moment of SCU after the commercial break. I just thought that whole part was just so ham-handedly done. And Mox and Eddie trashing the locker room. Is that not something they could have done after the commercial break in this sort of like morning thing? I like the idea, but it's production stuff. It's where they choose to do things when that really takes away. But SCU, no doubt, Christopher Daniels got crazy color. I mean, that match worked, and the Young Bucks, especially Nick, are definitely embracing this heel thing. And, I just thought, like, SCU breaking up should have just been presented as a bigger deal. It was just disappointing because of the way they chose to sort of haphazardly throw things at us. Josh is talking to Christian, who's talking about how he has an open contract and he invites anybody from Team Taz to do it, and then how he's going to go on to the Casino Battle Royal. Matt Sydal comes out, and Christian makes some jokes about him messing up at last year's Casino Battle Royal. And then Matt Sydal goes, I signed that contract. I love the fact that these promos are more spontaneous in feel, but this is one of those where it was like, man, it was just so choppy and awkward. And right now I'm feeling really wonky about Dynamite because I'm like, there's just a feeling that the show's coming off of the rails slightly. And then we have the match between Orange Cassidy and Pac, and it appears that Orange Cassidy really got his bell rung. And so at that point, they're just stuck. They had to take 2 picture-in-picture commercial breaks, which told you something. And then the finish, which is Orange Cassidy is just laid out and can't move, which just sucked all the energy out of the match because he's obviously really hurt. And if he's not really hurt, then the spot is terrible because it just completely kills the match. And then Kenny Omega decks Pac with the belt, and so they both get counted down. And then, you know, Kenny Omega and Don Callis are making this big deal about, I guess we get the night off. And then, you know, Machina crap. Here comes Tony Schiavone going, Tony Khan told me now you have to defend against both, which is such a WWE lame feeling way to get into a three-way match for the pay-per-view. Is just really shitty. Now the show is completely off, right? It just feels very, very off. And we're not going to have 6 matches. Keep in mind, one of these 5 matches is a squash match, right? So now we're just filling time, it feels like. The Elite, the Elite come out. They make the challenges. The Elite make all these challenges because they see their locker room is trashed. Again, it just all feels of no consequence. Then we come back from commercial. Adam Page cuts a good promo here with the Dark Order, where he wants his rematch with Brian Cage. And I really like Page here. I think it kind of gave a stability to the show as well. Then we had the Pinnacle Coronation, which was a great promo by Tully. Really great. And then the bubbly spray comes out. It's all silliness, and Jericho's there. And then the long and short of it is MJF challenges Jericho to Stadium Stampede match. Okay. Maybe we're getting back on track. JR sits down with Britt Baker. That's a good promo. Thunder Rosa demolishes Jasmine Allure. Okay. And we promote what's happening next week, and then Double or Nothing. And then Tony is with Jade Cargill. They show the proposal that the lawyer made to Jade Cargill. And then the promo goes nowhere. The long and short of it is like, I don't really need anybody. Okay. It just wasn't a good showcase for Jade Cargill. What is she about? Where's the focus? Like, what is she going to do? We don't get any of that. Like, you see what I mean? This Dynamite has been doing so good, and this show, just the center of the show completely fell out, really starting with them not giving the proper gravitas to SCU being done. And then we get Miro and Darby Allin, which I would say that that finishing sequence where Darby Allin and Miro were going back and forth and Miro catches him and Darby Allin loses was amazing. But there's so much shenanigans happening. Like this person and this person are attacking Sting, and then the Dark Order come out for some reason, which doesn't really make sense. And then Lance Archer comes out to conclude. It's overbooked fucking nonsense. And I love Dynamite. But this show, God, they need an adult in the room. And if it's true that they're having more production meetings to make sure they're not repeating stuff, that's all well and good, but they took 2 of the advantages over WWE, and then they squandered them both. One of them is that they have more wrestling on their wrestling show. And now they've only had 5 matches, one of them being a squash during their flagship show, while they're having hours and hours of these YouTube squash match shows. And then their other thing was not doing gimmicked out bullshit. And the Moxley-Yuji Nagata match highlighted how gimmicky the rest of it was, right? That Orange Cassidy Pac finish was dismal. And guys look like they're getting hurt at an increasing rate. And I don't know, man. This show was just definitely a miss. Hopefully they can just get things back in order next week.